Okay, boys, welcome back. As we have discussed at the very last part of the second video lecture that I've uploaded, that in the next lecture I'm going to implement all the inheritance, basic part of the inheritance, that all with using all the examples that I've discussed during that presentations. Okay, so my first thing we should do, we should go to that folder that I've already shared. So what you can do for this purpose, go to this link http colon double slash tiny.cc gm cac 202. So once you do this, the shared folder will appear in front of you. Now go to the lecture one folder. Once you go back to the lecture one folder, you'll find one sample code folder is available there. Sample code folder. So you do one thing, go back to the lecture one folder and right click to the sample code folder and just click download. Once you download, all the source file will be available with you. So now let's open the dev C++ ID. So to save time in to upload the videos, so what I already opened all the files that required here to in dev C++ ID. Okay, so do one thing, just first create the person class. This is the most basic base class that we need to build here. Okay, so I hope remember, if you want to go back to the class diagram, so we can repeat the things one more time here. Yeah, so this is the probably we have the class diagram. Person class will have two data member and three member functions. Out of these three, one will be we have our constructor. So what we did, we just create a person class here. We have declare a person class here. Just for the time being, uh, for your better understanding, what you can do, you just add this line as you always do in the classroom using namespace std. Okay, and just remove it that we have used here. Remove it. Okay, so for the timing, just declare all the data member as public. So we did here, we have declared data member as public here. String name is declared as public. Age is also declared as public as string and integer. Okay, next, create a constructor. Parameterize constructor with default argument. Because we already discussed the features of default argument. Default argument will help us to declare only one constructor, and it can be used for multiple purpose. So when we create the object, it will be most useful when we use the default argument with the constructor parameters. Okay, so create a two argument parameters constructor of the person, and pass declare two argument to that constructor as a string name and integer as an age, and use initializer list. Use initializer list and initialize m underscore name, the data member of the person class, by the argument name, and also initialize m underscore age by the by the argument age. Okay, next we need to write two getter method. One method will return the name, another method will return the age here. So get name. What how to do this? Just create a getter method here, and again we need to write here std. Just return type is string, and get name is the method name, and make it constant because we are not going to add any logic inside that function. We're simply going to have the return statement. So make it constant. So object will not able to modify anything of the anything of this class if we make a member function as a constant. Okay. Similarly, we are creating another function here called get age. So what you can do, a simple go with the return type as int and declare as a constant. So return the age from this function. Now let's see the main method in the person.cpp. So we are passing the two values here. Name of the student is Rakesh, and age of the student is age of the person is 23. So when you just do this thing, yeah, so let's execute this code and we'll able to understand what this code is doing here. Okay, so it's print an output. Yeah. It's print an output. Yeah, its print output called Rakesh is 23 years old. So what we are using? We are using the object, then we are using the dot operator to call the member method, and we simply print the output what we want. So we have this person class. Next, design the baseball player class. So similarly, baseball player class also have two data member that we already discussed in the lecture, batting average and the home runs. So as we have discussed in the class diagram, it will have a constructor here, baseball player as a constructor. So what we did, we also add a parameter constructor, two argument parameters constructor like person class, and we also add two getter method to get the batting average and also to get the home runs. A similar way also we can do this thing. We can print the batting average with respect to its home run. So just create an object of the baseball player class and just pass the argument to the constructor to initialize the data member. Then what next? Now what you need to do, we need to inherit the name of the baseball player and age of the baseball player from the person class. So next what you're going to do, we're going to merge these two class in one file, person class and baseball player class. So we have created a source file called single inheritance underscore public. So let's check this file here for your understanding purpose. To do this, as we always do in class. So as it is, we have added the person class. As it is, we have added the data member of the person class. We always keep it as public, and we declare a parameter as constructor, same as it is that we have done in the person.cpp file. And we have two getter method. One is a string get name, which will return the name of the person, and another will return the age of the person. Okay. Now what you want? We want that baseball player class need to acquire the properties of person class as the data member that you have declared, and this three member function, all these three member functions are public for the time being, and data member is also public. So just I hope you remember the syntax. If you forget the syntax, just we need to go through that last slide of my discussion. Here's the syntax. So suppose we are creating here a baseball player class, so we should follow the syntax. Class is the keyword, the name of the class, then give a colon, and we are going to do public inheritance here. So we use the access specifier public, and then baseball class name, which is the name of the. Okay, so just give a base class name. Base class name is a person class. Now let's go back to the implementation here. Okay, so we are creating baseball player class as a derived class, or we called it derived class or child class or subclass. So here baseball player class is a derived class. We are deriving the properties of person class. We are using here public inheritance. Okay, we'll discuss later on what is the use of this public word here. We called it mode of inheritance. We'll see later on, not now, just after a few lectures. Okay, and baseball player class have its own data members, batting average and home runs. And we have added a two argument parameters constructor. Now look at that, there is a no member function that we have previously added in the baseball player. We have added the home runs and get average functions, but during inheritance we have not done anything here. Okay, we have not done anything. We try to keep simple. We try to keep the thing simple, with code or simple by which you all can understand. Okay, next. So now what we are doing? We are doing public inheritance. We have inherit the person class to baseball player class as in public mode. What is the meaning of this public mode? Look at the person class. Person class, everything is public. Everything is public, and we know that a public data member can be accessed outside of the class. Similarly, a public method also can be accessed outside of the class. So what we did here, we make it keep the thing public. So before I execute this part of the code, let's put everything in comment for the time. Put it everything in comment. Okay, so what we did, we have created a baseball player class. Now let's check the size of the baseball player object. See out size of Joe. Joe is what? Joe is an object of baseball player class. Save this. Okay, sorry. So, spelling mistake. Yes. So now look at the size. Size is given 32. But if we look at the baseball player will have two data member. One, it will have double batting average. The size of the double is 8, and integer home runs. So 8 plus 4, it should be 12. But when we check the size is showing us 32. Then from where they get this much of memory? And what is the need of those memory? Now look at this person class. Person class have a string name, m name, and integer image. So integer size is 4 byte, fine. 12 plus 4 is 16, and remaining size they have allocated for the string m name. Okay, so remember the size of the derived class object should be equal to, so what I want to say, I want to say this, size of the derived class object is equal to all data members, all public data members of base class and all data members of derived class. So that's why such size is given. I hope the whole idea is clear how it gets the size of 32 byte. Two data member belongs to the derived class as m betting average, and two data member belongs to the person class, which is the base class here. Okay, next. So next what you're going to do, just remove the comment that I did previously. Remove all the comment. Yeah. Now see, m underscore name is a public data member of the person class. So it is very easy for us to access this m underscore name from the outside of the class because it is public. So now here what we are doing, we are assigning a name to the baseball player Joe. Okay, Joe is what? Joe is an object of baseball player. But look at this, baseball player object accessing the data member of person class means derived class object accessing the data member of base class. So how it is possible? It is possible because of this inheritance. So when you do public inheritance, so public data member of the base class is remain public in the derived class also. So this two data member m name and m underscore age of person class is remain as public to the baseball player class also, because we are doing public inheritance. We called it mode of inheritance. So what is the mode of inheritance here? Public mode. We are doing publicly. We are publicly inherited person class to baseball player class. So what is happening here by this? So we can access the public data member of the base class outside of the derived class using the derived class object. So we are assigning a name to that. Okay. Okay. Next. So let's access the method of this. So we can, if we access the private public data member of the base class, similarly we can access the public member function of the base class using the derived class object, because we are acquiring the property as we have discussed during the definition. We are acquiring the property of base class. Okay, so but directly we are not doing anything inside the derived class. So let's try to access it. Let's see any problem or not. So what you're going to do, Joe is what? Joe is an object of derived class, and get name is a method of person class. So we're printing the name. We should expect output should be Joe here. And in the next line, it also, so what is the comment that I put here? We'll get understand. Use the get name function we have acquired from the person base class. So using the object of derived class, we are accessing the member function of base class. So this is the powerful feature of inheritance. So if we compile this code, we'll get the 32. 32 is what? 32 is the size of the, due to this line number 43, 32 is the size of the object of the derived class, and Joe, that we have allocated the name to m underscore name, which is the data member of person class, and we have get back this name uh, with the help of member function that declared inside the base class. I hope the whole idea is clear, that the main agenda is here to acquiring the properties of base class to derived class. Okay. Okay. So similarly, we can do this thing for the employee class also. So in the next video, I'm going to discuss how can we make employee class, how can we inherit from the uh, person class, or better you should try, because I already uploaded the source file. The basic concept I have cleared here. The basic concept I did, when you inheriting a class from a class, you should declare the base class first. So we have created the base class and follow this simple syntax, and for the time being just keep everything as public. So I hope the idea is clear to you. So we'll see in the next video for the next topic of this lecture. Thank you.